Good morning, students. Today we're going to be talking about the method of this class, quote, Dewey-ing history. So basically, the class format is designed based on the ideas of American philosopher John Dewey. He wrote a book in 1916 called Democracy in Education. We're going to take a look at a few of those quotes and then determine how those might influence how a history class could be taught. We'll start with the importance of school. In 1916, John Dewey wrote, "A government resting upon popular suffrage cannot be successful unless those who elect and who obey their governors are educated." The word suffrage is linked there to the definition, but I'll tell you that suffrage means the right to vote. So I want you to, in your own words, explain why John Dewey thinks education is important. Again, he said, "A government resting upon popular suffrage cannot be successful unless those who elect and who obey their governors are educated." Think about it this way. Ultimately, he says people have to be educated if they're going to have what type of government? All right. Number two, how should the above quote influence how a history class is taught? If John Dewey thinks that we have to have an educated country if we're going to have popular suffrage, should that influence how we teach American history classes? Should we be concerned whether or not what we're teaching is going to help people successfully elect and obey their governors? Idea two, how should students learn? In 1916, John Dewey wrote, "We're all instructors to realize that the quality of mental process, not the production of correct answers, is the measure of educative growth. A revolution in teaching would be worked." So John Dewey in this quote is talking about how he thinks school should be run. What should be the goal? He has two different things that he explains in here. A type of teaching that focuses on the quality of the mental process, and then another type that is focused on the production of correct answers. I need you to tell me what he thinks teachers should focus on when evaluating students. Basically, what kinds of things should we be giving you grades for? Is it things that are just the production of correct answers? Or is it things that are related to the quality of mental process? And then again, you need to tell me how this idea about evaluating students should shape how a history class is taught. Our third quote is a series of quotes, again from his 1916 work. We're talking about why study history. John Dewey wrote, "It is wise to use the products of past history so far as they are of help for the future. Since they represent the results of prior experience, their value for future experience may, of course, be indefinitely great." The true starting point of history is always some present situation with its problems. The third, knowledge of the past is the key to understanding the present. History deals with the past, but the past is the history of the present. So I gave you three quotes here from John Dewey that I thought kind of showed why he thinks history is important. So read these quotes again and explain to me why John Dewey thinks history is important. And then, like above, you're going to summarize for me how should these ideas of why history is important shape how a history class is taught. The last thing I'm going to ask you to do is just create a summary. Based on what I learned from John Dewey, this class is taught differently because in this space write some of the things that you reflected on. John Dewey gave us a couple different ideas of how history should be taught, how schools should be done, etc. I want you to tie those all together and explain to me why history is going to be taught differently. Okay, and let me just clarify this for you. I know that this is different than how you have ever studied history before, and change can be hard. So I'll promise you that as long as you are putting in effort and allow me to help you, I will do everything that I can to make sure that you are successful in this class. That's all for today. Make sure if you have questions, you reach out.